When she fell apart.
From being a relatively unknown country singer to becoming the first woman to win 3 Grammys for Album of the Year and ultimately becoming one of the biggest singers of all time, how Taylor Swift became one of the most successful singers in the world is quite amazing, given that she faced rejection at the beginning of her career. But she's come a long way, and her ultimate goal seems to be entertaining her fans and breaking one record after the other. This begs the question, how exactly was she able to achieve such incredible success? And how did she become such a mega superstar with a huge fan base known as the Swifties, who pay thousands of dollars just to see her performing live? There are enough talented people on this planet who never experience even an ounce of the success Taylor's had. What's the difference between her and other singers? Stay tuned to see why Taylor Swift became the most successful singer ever. The first reason has to be her perseverance. Taylor Swift's journey into stardom started at a very young age, and it wasn't exactly a rosy one. In Nashville, Tennessee, she and her mom tried to get her record label deal, but no one seemed to be interested in her because she was so young. They even told her to give up on her dream and return when she was 18. But this wasn't going to be her reality. I wasn't prepared to accept that I wasn't going to be a relevant artist until I was 18, and so I just kept coming back. And she kept pushing. She returned multiple times to Nashville with her mother to submit demo tapes of the Chicks and Dolly Parton covers, but she still got rejected. But after several efforts, she was eventually given an artist development deal by RCA Records, and soon after, at the age of 14, she got signed by Sony ATV Tree Publishing House, becoming their youngest artist ever. Unfortunately, she was still unsatisfied and decided to cut ties with them. She accused the label of not caring and cutting other people's stuff, and she felt she wasn't going to achieve much there. In her interview with The Telegraph, she said, "I genuinely felt that I was running out of time," adding that I'd written all these songs and I wanted to capture these years of my life on an album while they still represented what I was going through. Taylor had a strong feeling that she wanted to become famous when she was just 11, and despite the fact people didn't take her seriously because of her young age, she refused to give up. She took every opportunity to perform and show her talent to anyone that cared to listen. When she finally got media outlets, they weren't willing to put in the energy required to make a big name. Nevertheless, she wasn't going to stay with them begging for some attention. She kept pushing till she made it big, and it's that perseverance that she's had since she was young that has helped her remain relevant to date. On your way to success, despite how talented you are, you're sure to get more no's than you bargained for. But that's not enough reason to give up. You just need to be at the right place at the right time. This takes us to the next reason for her success: luck. But not just the one that came to her by chance, but the one she sought after. You know what they say, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. This means you can get lucky just by simply being at the right place, or you can search for luck, and that's pretty much what the talented singer did. She was fully aware of her talent, and if she could get the right person to listen to her original track, she knew that she would get her big break. And that's exactly what happened when she caught the attention of DreamWorks Records executive Scott Borchetta, who was planning to create his own record label called Big Machine Records.
And I think the second song was a song called Picture to Burn, and she played, I said, "That's a hit song."
Borchetta was impressed by Taylor, and he immediately made her one of Big Machine's first signings. Under the label, she released her first album, which peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard 200, spending 157 weeks on the chart, making her the first female country music artist to write or co-write every track on a US Platinum certified album. Luck is definitely a recipe everyone needs in their success story. It kind of makes things turn out the way you've always dreamed of, and gives you the boost that your talent and hard work might not necessarily give you. But of course, Taylor would never have come so far without her emotional intelligence. Being in the spotlight opens one too many critical observations, some of which can get very negative. As Taylor began to make massive waves, many people felt she didn't deserve the accolades she was getting. Kanye West cut short her VMA speech after she was presented with the Best Music Video award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
This was perhaps one of the most confusing times in the singer's life, as she wasn't sure how to exactly handle the entire situation. And it turned out it wasn't even the end of the conflict between the two. Kanye would later release a song where some of his lyrics about Taylor were not appreciated. She made it clear she wasn't happy, but Kim said that Taylor gave Kanye the go-ahead, causing people to call Taylor a snake online. Taylor confessed that she thought it would ruin her career, and according to AndreaLeeBross.com, Taylor said on stage, "A couple of years ago, someone called me a snake on social media, and it caught on. Then a lot of people were calling me a lot of things on social media." She then continued saying, "I went through some really low times for a while because of it. I went through some times when I didn't know if I was going to get to do this anymore." And instead of letting the whole drama pull her down, Taylor worked the entire situation to her advantage, using it to create one of her biggest albums, Reputation. She told her excited crowd from the stage, "I wanted to send a message to you guys that if someone uses name-calling to bully you on social media, and even if a lot of people jump on board with it, that doesn't have to defeat you. It can strengthen you instead." Her emotional intelligence really came into play here, as she could have remained fearful and refused to do what she loved the most, but she turned the entire situation around and made it her strength. On your way to the top, you must decide how to navigate through the vileness that might be thrown at you. Would you rather let it get to you to the point where you never show your face again, or would you outsmart it with some emotional brilliance? Another factor is Taylor's courage. Taylor Swift showed a level of courage and bravery that's not very common with young artists, which often leads to them being taken advantage of, and this can ultimately kill their goals. Taylor would not let anyone take advantage of her and her music. She was also not going to let anyone bully her into silence or treat her like a puppet. In a highly publicized dispute between her and her former label over the masters of her first 6 studio albums, Taylor attempted to buy her masters from the record label after she realized the label was going to be sold, but all attempts to do so were frustrated or riddled with unfavorable conditions. The label even went so far as to block her from using some of her own songs at the 2019 American Music Awards and for her 2020 documentary Miss Americana. This forced her to call them out and begin to re-record her album. She wasn't sure how the public would take it, but she began anyway, and the support has been incredibly strong. Fearless, Taylor's version that is, topped the Billboard 200 chart, making it the first re-recorded album to ever do so. What you can take from this is you shouldn't let anyone bully or manipulate you to take away your choice. Seek professional help if you have to, but don't let anyone determine how far you can go. Taylor isn't only using her courage to stand up for herself, but also for other artists in the music industry. She went head-to-head against Apple after she made it clear that refusing to pay artists for their work because they were giving their users free 3-month subscriptions was unfair, and she refused to put her latest album on at that time onto their platform. This immediately forced Apple to change its position and become more considerate of artists. Standing up against unfavorable policies and calling for your efforts to be duly respected and properly compensated can help you grow. If you're shortchanged here and there, the growth you should have seen within a certain period of time would be delayed, so you have to identify that and refuse to agree with them. And another thing she had was strong social support. Taylor's latest album, Midnight, has broken several records. She became Spotify's most streamed artist in 24 hours and simultaneously claimed all top 10 slots on the Billboard Hot 100. This is largely thanks to Taylor Swift's strong fanbase, the Swifties. She also enjoys enormous support from her parents, who have been with her all the way and didn't mind moving their lives to a new state to ensure that their daughter's dream came true. Taylor's team and some of her friends have also been very supportive of her, and all of this has contributed immensely to her growth. Of course, you don't have a fan base as big as Taylor's, celebrity friends, or a sophisticated team, but having people that believe in you and are willing to go hard for you can make a lot of difference on your journey to success. So how has Taylor's story inspired you? Tell us in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching.